What's happening? This is Eric J. Olson. I am your host today for this episode of the Managing Partners podcast. On this podcast, we interview America's leading managing partners to find out how they're growing their firms and what they're doing to keep their case pipeline full, because every managing partner wants a full case pipeline. So today I have with me Jeff Gostyla. Hey, Jeff.
Eric, how are you? Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
I appreciate you carving out the time. Would you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your firm?
Well, I am the new managing partner at Halloran and Sage. We have 7 offices, 5 in Connecticut, 1 in Massachusetts, and 1 in Washington, D.C. I grew up in Berlin, Connecticut, which is a great town where I really, truly learned how to be grounded. I mean, if you do something bad, someone will kind of come and scruff you on the neck. And if you do something good, people will congratulate you up and down. So that's where that's my roots. And I then went to Villanova University for my undergraduate degree, and then Quinnipiac Law School for my law school degree. So that's my background. I worked 7 years at a small firm in New Britain, Connecticut, before coming over with one of the partners who hired me. That I knew his younger brother was the best man at my wedding, and he trusted me and he put his faith in me, as did others here at the firm. And I'm loyal to the nth degree.
That's excellent. That's great. So you said you're a new managing partner. When did that happen?
It happened in October of last year. And I didn't know this when I lost my mind and dropped my, stuck my foot in the water to do this. But I'm only the 5th managing partner in the years the firm has been in operation, and that it goes back to 1935. It's
oh, wow.
It's a humbling experience. And so I knew I didn't know the 3 first managing partners. I don't even think I was born yet, but I knew George Royster very well and Bill McGrath very well, and Bill's been nothing. George is retired, but Bill is still here, and he's been nothing but supportive. I asked him at one point, "Will you train me?" He's like, "No, I'm not going to train you. You're going to carve your own path, carve your own niche, whatever." I'm butchering this, but he's like, you have to just make decisions, and you have to make decisions quickly on a day-to-day basis. And he's right, but he's always been a great resource. And my partners they've been fantastic. They've been a great support staff. I call it a family here. It truly is.
Yeah. So you said since 1935, that's almost 90 years.
Yeah.
And you're the 5th managing partner. So 4 managing partners spanned 90 years.
Yes.
That's amazing. So very long tenure. You got a long job tenure ahead of you if you follow that path, right?
I hope so. I just try to come in on a day-to-day basis and do the best job I possibly can. Some decisions I make, I regret. Others I'm very proud of. Life is not perfect in that regard.
Sure.
But we're humming. We've got 7 offices. We've got almost 90 lawyers. We're trying to get up to 100. That's one of my initiatives. We're actively pursuing talent at the lateral hire stage, the associate stage, and even staff. So we're trying to build, and it's fun. It's fun to come in to the office every day. I jump out of bed at 5:45 without an alarm. I really like the people that are here, and I just try and do the best job I can for them.
Good for you. That's really impressive. So So a couple things that are impressive: 7 offices, 90 attorneys. It's a big crew. The 7 offices. So curious, how do you go about managing these different offices, especially the ones that are relatively far away, like Washington, D.C. and Connecticut? That's a decent amount of distance. Do you have people in each office that are running the office?
Well, I mean, DC is a little smaller. I mean, I think we have 2 attorneys and 2 staff members, and they're not bashful about reaching out and talking to me. But Connecticut's small, Eric. I mean, I can get to any of our offices within 45 minutes, barring a traffic jam. And even Springfield. I mean, our Springfield office it's thriving. I mean, they're new. They're relatively new to the firm, but they're humming. And I just try and stay out of everyone's way. I just try and let people practice law and do their thing.
Yeah. So, what practice areas do you mostly focus on?
Well, we were, being in the insurance capital of the world, we were, the bricks and mortar of this place has been insurance and insurance coverage, but we've really branched out to other, we've got other groups which are really, really thriving. While insurance is our typical bread and butter, we've got commercial litigation, employment law, environmental law is huge for us. Transportation, I could go on. I think the only thing I don't know that we have like a tax expert here, but if a phone call comes into me, for example, I can just walk up or down the hallways or make a phone call and find the right person. And so we try to be a full service firm.
Okay. And would it be a good assumption that the majority of your clients are other businesses? So you're a business law firm, generally speaking?
Yeah, we do. We're not. You're not going to see me on a billboard anytime soon. I mean, we're not, and no one would want to. I would suspect, but no. We
get justice.
No, I have no good catchphrases, man. I don't. But no, we are very rock solid with a lot of major insurance companies. They have been long time clients. I mean, going back to probably before I was born. And so I think our reputation is very, very solid there, but we also, this trust and estates, we have a good thriving practice in that regard, both with, just your basic estate planning and then probate litigation. We cover a lot of ground, and we have talented people who've been here for a long time. I'll share a story. A couple of years, I used to run our summer associate program, and one year I said, I think I have a lot of longevity here. I'm going to look this up, and so I asked someone to see where I stood on the depth chart of longevity at the firm. I thought I would be like in the top 25. I wasn't even close. I barely made the top 50. People, whether it be attorneys or staff people, there are some people who've just made a life and a career here. And that's where, I must protect the house and try to keep people happy and try to have them enjoy walking in the door every day for work.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, cool. So let's shift a little bit to marketing. So a lot of the content that we cover here has to do with marketing. We're a digital marketing agency, so we're always interested to see how clients are succeeding when it comes to marketing, some of their successes or challenges. So generally speaking, besides referrals, which I'm sure is a big in your practice and it is in almost all law firms, what are some other ways that you go about getting new business?
Well, let me preface it by saying that probably 80% of our business is existing firm clients. And then you got to go and chase down the other 20%. So we, personally, I've joined local bar associations. I've gone to these rubber chicken dinners. We did something which I think is really cool. Is we have the Halloran Sage Cup. So it's part of the New England Collegiate Baseball League. And so there's 5 teams. We were a sponsor for it. It was not a very, very big investment, but we positioned it in the towns that are at or near many of our offices. So,
Sure.
We'll have the opportunity to take clients. We're going to have the opportunity to meet and greet with other sponsors of all of these teams, just to try and make connections to certain people. So we charity golf tournaments, we try to do as much as we can and give back to the community. And I find that giving back to the community, people appreciate that. And they realize that these are good people. These are good lawyers. And I'd like to work with them. They're not cold. They're not cold fishes.
Yeah. So community involvement goes a long, long way, especially when you start talking about at the, it's one of those things where it's hard to measure like the results, but you want to show up over and over and over again, right?
Yeah, yes, I know. I mean, but you see it. I mean, one of the responsibilities I have every day is to go through clearing conflicts and seeing who's bringing in business and from where and what they're doing. And you can kind of connect the dots and say, okay, I know why this has come in. And it was because, it was because Kevin Green, one of our employment law specialists, did a presentation at the Connecticut Business and Industry Association. And you see cases come in and it's like, okay. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I can make an educated guess that it's because he made a connection with somebody who really, really liked him and wanted to hire him. I don't know all the background data, but I can make an educated guess and say, this is why we got it.
Let's talk a little bit about what you were telling me about before we hit record. The professional organization you're involved in?
Oh, Alpha. It's Alpha International. It's a great organization. You almost have too much fun at these events, but they they run a lot of really good programs. I'm presenting at one in June about marijuana and the law, and one of my colleagues here has done those presentations. So I'm the moderator. He's one of the keynote speakers. And you just get to meet a lot of nice people who maintain connections, and they think of you, when something kind of pops up. I'm becoming more and more involved in Alpha. I was just at the one in Austin, Texas, and met a few people who I keep in connection with, and they keep you busy. I never thought I'd sign up for a country line dancing class, but I was in a country line dancing class.
How'd you do?
Awful. No, I'm too old. I have a torn meniscus in my left knee. It wasn't good.
Oh, no.
So I was just trying to keep up with everybody, but no, it was fun. We took a group photo, and then we went out to dinner and sat by a fire pit and just shot the breeze. So it's they do a great job of keeping you intellectually challenged with programs, but also providing an entertainment aspect. So
Very nice.
Yeah, it's a great organization.
Cool. So I have that on the video. If you're listening to this, you go check out our YouTube and you can see the video, but the website address is alpha international.com. Oh, cool. That's interesting. Well, what are some of the things that seem to be working especially well for you right now in your marketing? You mentioned a couple things. Certainly referrals, a big thing. And let's maybe dive into that a little bit, assuming that's still working well for you. I'm sure it is, but is there anything that you're doing specifically to try to get those referrals, to try to make those connections, to try to, are you asking your clients for referrals, things like that?
Well, I mean, just before this podcast, I got a text from when I was actually practicing law, which is, getting harder and harder each day that I have this job. One of my clients said, "Do you have 5 minutes to talk?"
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I said, "Look, brother, in all honesty, I've got like a hard leave at 12:25 because I'm being featured on a podcast." I think he thought I was full of it, but no, you pick up the phone and you trust in your partners because they focus on their companies and their clients, and it just generates business. I will probably have 2 hours of work to do to open new files. It's been, COVID really, it's been a challenge with litigators because, those 2 hour rides that you had to go to a conference are now on video and they last 20 minutes. And so it's truly been a challenge for litigators, but we're opening a lot of files. I'm proud of it. I don't know where I don't know where they're exactly coming from. I guess the world is not going to be short of auto accidents and slip and falls anytime soon, but we're humming along.
Good. That's really good. Is there something that hasn't worked quite as well in your marketing as you had hoped it would?
Well, we're getting back into it, but I mean, all of the things that were staples for us, like golf tournaments or dinner meetings, they all just got jammed into the COVID trap. But they're opening up a lot. I've approved more requests for charity golf tournaments with clients than I ever expected would happen. So that's been positive. It's good that the world is opening up again. I hope we don't have, another round of this, because that could be really truly detrimental. But I guess you asked about challenges. The other challenge is we're actively trying to hire, and I don't know what these young attorneys are doing. It is. I mean, I got out of law school and I had debt. I had to work. I started working 2 weeks after I took the bar exam. Actually, a week after I took the bar exam, and I haven't stopped since. Short of like a 2-week vacation. That's been a real challenge, Eric. I don't know how these young lawyers survive without. And we're offering a very, very good salary and opportunities to become partners. So that's been another challenge, but we're trying to figure it out.
Any idea if the graduation rate of new lawyers, or like the rate of passing the bar, has decreased? I don't know.
That's a really, really good question. One of my partners brought that up because I was apoplectic. I was saying, I don't understand why we can't hire anybody. But law school classes are decreasing, and excuse me, not all of them are coming back to Connecticut to practice. So she brought up a really good point in that may be why we're sort of swimming upstream here.
Yeah, I know it's definitely getting harder across the board for all industries to hire these days, and it is pretty shocking because you would. It's not like one company is gobbling them all up or anything, right? So
No,
very interesting.
It's perplexing.
Yeah, to say the least. Well, cool. I appreciate your time. What is the best way for viewers to connect with you if they have a question?
It would be 860-522-6103, or my email address, Gostyla, Gostyla at Halloran, HALLORAN, sage.com.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time. All right, everybody.
I appreciate it.
You got it. All right, everyone. If you would like to check out other episodes like this, you can see our entire backlog of over 150 interviews with managing partners across the country at arraylaw.com/podcast. Those are organized by practice area and by state, so you can really drill down and find what you're looking for. And if you're a managing partner looking for something new for your digital marketing, check out my website, arraylaw.com. All of our services are up there, and we love working with law firms. All right, Jeff, thanks so much.
Thank you, Eric.